Okay, delving into the supplement side, tell us a little bit about probiotics. Are they worthwhile, worthless, and also the prebiotic category? So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, the pre and the probiotics. So the probiotics are the bugs themselves, right? You tend to take them. The prebiotics are the foods that, fermented kind of things that go in there and get made into those short chain fatty acids. Um, Probiotics, I am when it comes to supplements, I am a do no harm,
Okay.
right? So, and probiotics definitely do no harm.
Okay.
So I I think every person you talk to in a probiotic will tell you their story, or an ex-user of a probiotic. They either totally work for you or they don't at all work for you, right? I think probiotics are, again, once you start taking something to change the gut microbiota, you have to take it. And when you remove that stimulus, the gut microbiota will revert to what it's comfortable at, which is your microbiota that gets kind of settled in at 2 or 3 and then has changes throughout the life. Puberty will induce something and this will induce something else and so on and so forth. But it tends to kind of stay fairly you, right? So if you start the probiotics, keep taking them, especially if they work for you. If you take them and you stop and you don't notice anything, then perhaps it hasn't done much, right? I mean, most of the probiotics I still think contain very similar still versions of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. I don't think that they have kind of moved too far away from a lot of those, strains, because they tend to be the ones that we know the most about. But given the earlier parts of our conversation where we said, well, we only really know how a few thousand work, right? Are there definitely untapped ones that we don't know about that could be more important, and so probably, maybe, right? And they just, haven't been looked at yet. I think prebiotics are, again, that's again linked to your diet. Are you incorporating those, high fiber foods or fibrous foods as part of your diet that will then manifest the production of those short chain fatty acids? And again, if you're eating them and you notice good changes to your gut microbiota, don't stop, because once you stop, it'll go back. And, you unfortunately see this kind of like reverse, or reversion of the gut microbiota to whatever it was after you stop or give up whatever that intervening aspect is. So, most people will say feed the bugs, the prebiotics, use the probiotics if, you are deficient, maybe have some sort of gut related issue that, you feel benefits them. I think most people would say kind of like feed the bugs. And we know for performance, you guys, I believe you guys have you have a position stand on probiotics where it's not really, it's kind of not direct, it's an indirect ergogenic on maybe, potentially kind of lessening sick time and things like that, just because I think, the mechanism of how probiotics work is still totally unclear. I mean, for a while there, the NIH was putting a lot of funding into how do probiotics work, because everybody seems to be on them, and gut microbiota is big, and so let's figure out how they work. And so it says something that within the last 10 years there were major calls for proposals of the NIH to understand how they work.
Right. So one quick question, and it's just hard to answer, I know, so without taking direct measurement. What is, you said some people take them and think it works, right? What are we looking for? What would you, if outside of direct measurement of what's available, what do we mean by work? And I'm not being a wise guy. Like, what would we
totally
look for, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no,
what
absolutely.
would that mean?
Right. So short of, like you said, checking to see what that gut microbiota looks like before and say after your probiotics, and were you deficient prior to in some of those probiotic bugs, which we do know are beneficial, which is why they're put into the probiotics. And now they're there acting as a guild, suppressing pathogenic guilds, right? In that whole interaction that we were talking about. So you don't know that, like you said, in direct measurement. I think the biggest way to see if they work for you is, alleviation of symptoms.
Okay.
For someone, say, suffering, if someone feels bloated or crampy or
Right.
whatever all the time, I think the biggest thing is, do your symptoms feel alleviated to where, the comfort of your day is a lot better? And you're like, okay, well, if you're noticing that, then you probably are like, okay, these are probably working for me.